Some of you have never been in great shape before, but it's something we all want to achieve, whatever great shape is for us. But one thing we need to think about is perspective. Most of the people I know in incredible shape are not as happy as you'd think with their body. In fact, what we always joke about in the gym is that the fitter you get, the better in shape you get, the less happy you are. 2 days ago, I was having a chat with a client because he's lost 6 kilos in the last 6 weeks. And he's a bit pissed off because he was sick for 2 weeks. So he had like a 3 kilo drop in the first 2 weeks. So like everyone else, he does the math in his head and he's like, right, 9 kilos in 6 weeks. He got sick, it slowed him down, and now he's 6 kilos down and he's annoyed about it. One of my other guys walked in and he's trying to lose weight. And I said to him, because he keeps drinking, I said, 6 kilos in six weeks, how good is that? And he went, that's unachievable, that's impossible. And the guy that was complaining about getting 6 kilos, you could see his face go, oh, like that, and walked away. And I said to him, that guy over there has been trying to lose weight for ages, but he can't stop drinking and he can't find the time which he can lock in. You're pissed off because you dropped 6 kilos. And then he went, oh, but I should have got more because of X, Y, Z. And I said to him, if you lost another 6 kilos now on your goals, come the start of April, how would you feel? And he said, well, amazing, of course, that'd be 12 kilos. And I was like, but you've just done the 6 kilos in 6 weeks, but the 6 kilos you've just earned isn't good as the 6 kilos you're going to earn. The problem he's got is that when he drops those 6 kilos, it won't be enough. I don't know what it is with all of us, but it's never enough. It's the same with money, it's the same as everything. So you have to know that it's not going to feel as good as you hope. But we pick these goals, make them mean something to you, and aim for them. This is another reason why a lot of you are going to drop off, because you're going to say something like, I want to lose 4 kilos. But losing 4 kilos, you can kind of do that with a crash diet. So when you achieve that, what happens? Normally that's when you give up and then you put it back on again and you go on this lifelong yo-yo, as a lot of you do every January. So pick a goal and then pick what you're going to do after it. If you achieve your goal, God forbid, then you have to know how to stay there. So my goal is to maintain my weight. I want to drop maybe 2 kilos, but I can drop that in a couple of weeks. When I drop that weight, my goal is to stay the same. It just sounds so boring in a world where transformations mean anything. But you can't transform like me. I've got another 55 years of lifting. I can't continue to transform for 55 years. So find a place you want to get. If you have to write it down somewhere, make it so that you wrote it and that you have to believe it. Write it down so if you look at it in your incredible new form and it says, get to 15% body fat, bench press 80 kilos, be able to run 5K in 22 minutes. When you can do that, you have to agree it's a good thing. So try and enjoy the moment. And then your goal is to stay where you are, which doesn't sound sexy, but that is why you've looked at certain people and been like, oh, they look great their whole life, they're lucky. These people just know how to be a bit more comfortable in their skin and they just work at a higher level. So the reason that they don't allow themselves to get fat or to get out of shape is that when they hit 16% body fat and they haven't got the full six pack anymore, they feel bad about it. Whereas you might get to the point where you can put on another 20 kilos on top of that before you feel bad about it. So most of us are trying to escape pain. So the guys that look great and then get ripped, they're not really having more fun than you are, which is quite strange to think that you're there 30% body fat, potentially morbidly obese, and there's another person whose class have an athletic leanness in really healthy state who is just as disappointed in where they are as you are. They have to lose less, but the less you have to lose, the harder it is to lose it, whereas you have to lose more. The problem that both people have, including me, including everyone, is that we need to understand when we've got it good. It comes as when we were a student, we might have been earning a few pounds a week, then you make 6 figures as an adult and it's not enough because you can't start comparing yourself. You have to work out and you have to find a way to convince yourself that when you're good, you are good. Normally it's writing goals down. It's why everyone we train must write their goal down. So they say, I want to achieve this. Once they've achieved this was the goal they came in when they were 10% fatter, 15 kilos heavier, 5 kilos lighter and much weaker. This is the goal that little guy or that bigger person there really wanted. When you get it, the problem is you became a different person on the journey to get that thing. So now you're a person that identifies as being fit and healthy. And as a fit and healthy guy, really you should be absolutely shredded like the person in the magazine. Whereas when you were 30% body fat, morbidly obese, you look down at people that were like a size 10 and went, that's where I want to be. Then you get to size 10 and you go, no, I want 8. Then you get 8 and you go 6. And the guys as well. I just love to see a flat tummy. I don't want a six pack. Lo and behold, you lose enough weight, then you start comparing yourself to the guys with a six pack. Know that this happens. It can be quite a healthy pursuit. If you want to pursue a six pack, that's great. It's a great healthy thing to pursue. But the whole veins in the abs, single digit body fat, see every single vein, the diet that takes to stay there a long time is an unhealthy pursuit. So before you embarked on one of these missions to get in great shape, or if you are there already, put a pin in a map and go, this is my dream. Sit there and try and intellectually compartmentalize it into your head and say, this person looks great. 10% body fat for me is good. For instance, I will never go to 10% body fat again. I've said that now. I want to be 12 to 15% body fat. In my dream world, I just bounce along happily at 12 to 15% body fat. There are people much more ripped than me, and I'm still better than 95% of people. For me, that's where I want to live. When I'm at 12%, I will always ask myself the question, single digit body fat, how great that would that be? Then I do the diet that I have to do and I look at it and go, do I want to do that diet to get to that? And then I understand that when I get to 8% body fat, I look ridiculous in clothes with sallow cheeks as though I took Ozempic, and I'm weaker, I'm moodier, I've pissed people off along the way because I can't do certain things. Is that worth my 9% body fat? Absolutely no chance. So here I sit and bounce up and down 12 to 15% body fat. Pick your channel that you want to go into. There's no point picking some arbitrary number like 9% because you might not hit it, you might hit 8, and then you might go up to 10, and then will you be devastated? So you pick a place to bounce around, and that includes you pick about what you can do. So my thing is I want to run 22-minute 5K. I would love to love 20, but I know that to do a 20-minute 5K, I have to put a lot more time into running, which means that I will hurt my knees because I know my body. I will hurt my hips. I will spend less time in the gym. I will get weaker because I have to drop body weight. And I love lifting weights. I love it. My flexibility will probably change and I'll get injured because I know me well enough to know that I will not do enough flexibility that I need. I will not have someone massaging me like a professional to kind of cool down after a workout. I won't. So for me to pursue 20 minutes, as one of my brothers done at the moment, and is actually already unable to walk after a few months, is that I know that for me to go on that pursuit is things I'm not willing to give up. So I shouldn't write it down. So I'm happy with my 22 because I also want to take the 40 kilo dumbbells in the gym and do incline presses for 10 reps because that feels just amazing. I like to be able to do that. That's my way. Bench 100 kilos. I want to deadlift 150 kilos for reps. I no longer want double body weight because as an 85 kilo guy, 170, it feels heavy to me at the moment, and I know that 150 I get the benefits. So you build out what you want from that. Build out a look. Build out the fact that you want to look good in January and time for it as well. 30 minutes of this, just sat down thinking about it, will change the way you look at everything. As long as you write it down and make sure you do look at it when you get there, because you can all achieve your goals. Some of you have already achieved your goals, but the problem is after you achieve the goals, you do the whole, what do I do now thing. That normally involves going the exact opposite because it didn't feel as good as what you wanted, and then you start getting fatter, you start losing muscle, you start getting less fit until you hit that floor again, whatever it is. You know, the one guy, his floor was 16% body fat, yours might be 30% body fat. You hit that floor and then you go, oh, I feel terrible, bang. You repeat the cycle again, and we have this slow, I know so many people that have 10 kilos as the normal weight, where you go up 10 kilos, you drop down 10 kilos, but you never quite hit your goal. And you just do this above this goal that you want to do for a long period of time. It feels like crap. It's pointless, and going up and down is so bad for your metabolism. It's so bad for your psychology, for your wardrobe as well, constantly buying new clothes. But hit something, bounce around and find a way. What I do with my guys is we have check-ins. We pick this and we say, look, we're going to get here. And once you get there, whether it's for 5 months or 5 years or 50 years, Your goal is now to stay here in this channel like I want to do. My channel is 12 to 15% body fat. And sometimes at the moment, I'm out of it. I think I'm 16, 17%. Fine. And then I'm going to go down again. I come out of it a bit, but I'm not out of it. So I'm not out 20%, 25%. My ceiling, I found, after lockdown was 19% body fat. I hit 19% body fat, fuming. Like 18%, I was like, whatever. 19, something went in me and I was like, oh shit, I'm 90 kilos. I always wanted to be 90 kilos and lean, and now I've got 90 kilos of not lean. It's all hair and fat. So find a thing, hold yourself to a higher standard, pick it and sit there in the cold light of day, no emotion, and go, what is good? This is healthy, and I want to go here. So I want to go from healthy to incredible and bounce around here. I don't want to go back into unhealthy. The average man and woman now is overweight, we know that. So most of you are sitting in the obese to morbidly obese category, which is a shame, but what's good is you can come out of it quickly. And then the skinny guys and girls that want to pack on muscle, again, you need to step up and you find something. So we're all coming towards this goal. Most of the time, the goal is the same. We all want to look athletic and lean. When I take 100 people, I ask them the same question, girl and guy. I don't want to get too gripped. I don't want to be fat anymore. I don't want to be skinny anymore. I want to be in this middle. So it's pretty easy to get there, and you follow a plan. So we'll always give a certain amount of plans. There's a lot of advice out there, but the biggest bit of advice is stick to a plan, stick to a method, and don't bounce around, because if you scroll off this video now, there'll be another one of me, probably veinier, probably more tanned, definitely much leaner, definitely with a gruffer voice, who will look more impressive, which is devastating for me to say out loud. And he or she is going to tell you some madness that sounds so much easier than my little slowly get down to your goal boring crap. They're going to tell you about the newest supplement, and they're going to tell you about a protocol. If you call it a protocol, it sounds so much better. So they'll tell you about different protocols that maybe work with Olympians, or that they searched back in the archives for, or that got these other ripped people in shape before. None of it is true, but for Instagram, for Facebook, for LinkedIn, you have to say this crap. So my aim is to not say this crap, to be a bit more truthful and see if it sticks with some of you, even though it's boring. They're going to sell you 4 weeks to get ripped. I'm selling you 4 to 6 months to get ripped and stay there forever. That's a long way to think, isn't it?